Analysis of Unlawful Activities Prevention Amendment Act 2019 and the National Investigation Agency with special reference to the state and concurrent list. I have also submitted a PPT presentation on the topic, sir. Kindly check my presentation along with the voice record, sir. To start with my first slide, terrorism is an unlawful use of force or violence against person or a property to threaten the government to further certain political or social objective. So, to curb terrorism in India, we have the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. Moving on to the next slide, we have the reason for the enactment of the Unlawful Activities Act, that is to fulfill the 16th constitutional amendment, which mainly aimed at imposing reasonable restrictions on right to freedom of speech and to form association or to right to assemble peaceably without arms. All these imposed restrictions are done with an intention to preserve the sovereignty and to protect the integrity of India. To fulfill this constitutional amendment, we have the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act 1967. The main objective of the Act is to prevent the unlawful activities of individuals or associations across India, as well as it has given powers to the central agencies to deal with all kinds of terrorist activity to protect the territorial integrity and sovereignty of India. As a result of this, we have the National Investigation Agency, a central agency established after the Mumbai terror attack in 2008, mainly to combat terrorism in India. This investigation agency is authorized to investigate any terror-related activity across the nation, and it is one of the best functioning counter-terrorism agency to protect the national security. It has investigated more than about 315 cases, and the conviction rate is 90%. This makes it a very successful agency in combating terrorism in India. So now moving on to the next one is the amendment made in 2019, the sixth slide, wherein I have mentioned about the Unlawful Activities Prevention Amendment Act 2019. It was initiated in the Lok Sabha by Honorable Union Home Minister Amit Shah on July 8, 2019. This was done with the major intention to speed up the process and to overcome all the procedural impediments and to combat terrorism in a more effective and stringent way in India. Moving on to the next slide, we have the major changes brought in by the amendment. First one is empowering the Director General of the National Investigation Agency to grant approval for seizure or attachment of property. Next, with regard to any cases investigating regarding the terrorism, and second amendment is it empowers the central government to add or remove any person's name as a terrorist in the proposed fourth schedule of the act. And thirdly, we have it empowers the officers of rank of inspector in the National Investigation Agency to investigate the offences. Speaking about the reason for the amendment made is that first one, to include an individual as a terrorist, is that with a motto to curb the terrorist activity. It is believed that terrorist acts are committed not by organization but by individuals in it. So this amendment would definitely bring fear among the people from indulging in such activities and being a part of such terrorist organizations. So this amendment is paid way for the curbing the terrorist activity done with that intention. And second, the second amendment, that is granting power to the National Investigation Agency. Earlier, the National Investigation Agency the Director General has the power to investigate the case, but the thing is, he has to ask the permission from the state police authorities. But this amendment has overcome that permission thing, and they can directly investigate the case. India has the sole authority and power to investigate the matters. So this is done to speed up the process and to help overcome all the delay in the process, which to curb terrorism immediately. And thirdly, giving powers to the officers of rank of inspector. Earlier, it was assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner who has the power to investigate the cases. But now, the officer of rank of inspectors are also given the power to investigate the cases. This would definitely help in overcoming the human resource crunch and quicken the delivery of justice. So moving on to the main topic, that is with regard to the constitutionality of the amendment made. The disputes are only with regard to the two major changes, that is inclusion of individual as terrorists and the excessive powers granted to the NIA. First, dealing with the inclusion of individuals as terrorists, it is believed that it is violative of Article 14, 19 and 21 of the Constitution. Article 14 which gives the right to equality. But in this case, the arbitrary powers are given to the central government by they not even mentioning grounds for designating a person a terrorist. They are designating the individuals as terrorists in the fourth schedule of the act. This would affect the right to equality mentioned in article 14 of the constitution. And next thing is the right to freedom of speech and expression. In this case, the individuals are not given the right of dissent or defend the case. So without giving them such an opportunity and then directly designating them as terrorists would affect the article 19 of the constitution. And thirdly, the right to reputation, which is part and parcel of right to life, is also affected. When even before starting a trial, if a person has been termed as designated as individual a terrorist, in that case his right to reputation is being damaged. The second amendment, with regard to the granting powers to the National Investigation Agency, the police is being mentioned in the state list of the constitution. So anything with regard to the investigation or which is all the powers in that regard are being conferred on the state police authorities, and any law in that regard should be made by the state and not by the center. Giving the National Investigation Agency such a power would intrude the state list of the constitution, creating a conflict between the state and the concurrent list of the constitution. So this again makes it the lack of competency of the center to make laws in the state list would makes it unconstitutional in that regard. So these are all about the disputes with regard to the constitutionality of the amendment. So I would like to conclude saying famous words of Lord Denning: "The freedom of individual must take second place to the security of the state." So in this case, all the amendments made are with regard to the in pursuance of the security of the state, in accomplishing the security of the state, and given the first amendment, which gives the central government power to designate individual as terrorist if the individual has been given a proper opportunity and ground to defend himself and protect himself, then it would definitely not affect the fundamental rights if such a provision has been made more clear, giving an opportunity to defend. And secondly, the power granted to the NIA, it has not to intrude the powers of the state police, but if in case of any terror attack, the center has more onus and burden